Welcome to the REKAP Room. I'm Michael Kaplan, founder of the REKAP Group here in Chicago. This is where renters become buyers, buyers become investors, and average decisions turn into long-term wealth. No fluff, no hype, just strategy. Let's get into it. We are back, REKAP Room episode
42.
Who's that voice? If you're listening on video, then you know who it is. But if you're listening on audio,
Well, you won't be listening on video, you'd be watching.
Good point. See, this is I bring him on just to keep me humble, because when I'm only speaking to myself, one, I get a little lonely, but two, there's nobody to call me out on my BS.
Well, I was kicked off the podcast for a little bit.
He was in Department of Podcast Safety suspension.
HR got me this time.
HR violation, but we got some exciting stuff coming up before we get in the episode. This Friday, I will be. Today is April. What is this? 6th.
Yeah, it's Monday, April 6th.
Monday, April 6th.
Tomorrow's April 7th.
6-7.
We're done with the 6-7.
Let's
go back to 6-9. That was great.
See, this is why he gets suspended from the podcast, because he says inappropriate stuff. But April 10th, I will be closing on my condo, but I will be living with Gordy there. And I think people who follow me on social media, because I've had my girlfriend Patricia helping pick out all the things, they're going to be very surprised when they find out that we are not moving in together, and that Gordy will be moving in with me and not my girlfriend. So
she's moving in too?
No, she's not. She has her own place.
Thruple.
Wait, it's literally, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie or the show New Girl, but that's kind of, it's going to be like the opposite of New Girl, or like the same thing. I don't know, but it's
New Boy.
New Boy.
New
Gordy,
boy.
Are you excited? Are you excited to move in together?
I am very excited to be back down in the city, especially in West Loop.
Yeah.
We've never lived there.
Yeah, because Gordy and I have lived together before. Pat wants to include something.
Disclose your address.
No, I'm not disclosing my address. Although it's not very hard to find. So if you really wanted to find it, I'm sure.
Dude,
you
if we disclose our address, we're getting swatted. We're getting swatted.
Honestly, if we got swatted, I feel like I would take that as a badge of honor, because we're like popular enough
That'd
to get
be
swatted.
so funny.
I mean, it wouldn't be funny.
No, I'd be like scared.
I'd be scared. But if we like didn't get injured and like it all, I'd be like, okay, what's going on here? I'd be like, I really got to stop posting my TikToks about the housing market.
Yeah, people have been hating on you, huh?
Dude, people have been absolutely ripping me to shreds on social media.
Do you take the comments like, how like some people are like, oh, that kind of hurts me? Or do you just like whatever?
So at the start, by nature, I am a people pleaser.
Yeah.
Like, and it's not a good trait to have, but I don't like when people are mad at me. I'm really not confrontational, and I know sometimes maybe it doesn't come off that way, but like I really try and avoid conflict. So when people don't like me, it kind of upsets me. So when I first started posting and people were coming at me, it did sting a little. But now looking back at it, I'm thinking about it as I've gone through posting pretty consistently for the last few months. It's actually been a good thing, because I've been immune to, like, I see the comment, I'm like, this person would never say this to me in person.
No, like the internet's like a fake world.
It's a fake world.
It literally is fake. People just go on there and like, let me dunk on this guy for working hard on that video and like whatnot.
Yeah, like somebody literally commented the other day on my video about how Chicago's going to get more expensive.
Yeah.
And it was like a relatively mild take, I thought. And obviously, I spruced it up a little bit, otherwise it doesn't get views. Like, that's just the nature of social media. And he's like, the comment was, is your goal to be super annoying and ignorant? Because mission accomplished, I just blocked you. And I couldn't even click his profile because he literally blocked me. It said no.
That guy, you know what? That guy, he put on the cape and he was like, I'm gonna be a hero today.
I'm like,
good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
And so, but ultimately, like, these people would never say this stuff to my face. And at the end of the day, it's good for engagement. So, like, that's been...
You have to do that because then people argue in the comments. Also, everybody's like an expert in the comments. I've learned that.
Everybody knows it. Like, I've been selling real estate in Chicago for the last 6 years. I own multiple investment properties. I think I know more than the average person about real estate, especially when it comes to like both sides of it. But everybody on there becomes like an automatic expert. Like this, it's like you're talking to the world's greatest doctor, real estate investor, a lawyer. Like, they know everything. But that's just, par for like.
But it works though. It plays well. I feel like for the brand that we're trying to build, like, because you're good at that stuff. Like, I couldn't do it because I would attack people in the comments because I'd be mad about it. I'd be like, who are you?
Well, when I first started posting, I did attack somebody, and it backfired very badly. So this is a little story, and people probably don't know this. So we posted on the REKAP page a video of your Bears recap about the game that I think it was the Packers game or something that they won. It was a while ago. and it was on the recap page, and Gordy, we posted it, and I think you like messed up the score. Like it was a small amount.
Okay, I did.
And the guy commented on there. He's like, "You must not be a real bad take," and it's not.
He came after me.
Yeah, he came after you. So then from the recap page, I commented back, and I made like a "your mom" joke off the recap page. Like I said, frick, I forget what I said. I'll have to look back in what I said, but it was something. It was something along the line.
We can like post the comment too.
I don't know. It's probably gone.
I might have
deleted.
No, there's got to be a screenshot.
Yeah.
Sure.
So if you want to post it, I mean, I guess we can. Not my proudest moment, but it was something. It was something. Let me pull it up while we're here. I actually want to see.
Oh, so you were defending me as well.
I was.
Yeah.
I defend my. I defend my.
You got to defend your soldiers.
This is what he says. He goes, 25 points in the fourth were not unanswered. Casual fan, huh? Question mark. And, you can call Gordy a lot of things, but a casual fan is not one of them. He is a diehard sports fanatic. Like, this kid is an encyclopedia. So I came after him and said, your mom answered when we called last night, though, shrugging. And he goes, pathetic response. Blocks me, but this is where it got bad. And this is why I learned I have to keep my temper under control.
Yeah.
Goes on to report my account, which nothing happened from that. And then he left a review on our Google page and said, like, worst realtor ever, keep your kids away. Like,
what a loser, bro. Honestly.
So, loser behavior, but, like, again, my fault for playing into their game. So that from that point on, I learned.
25 on it. Oh, because they did score. All right, it wasn't unanswered. Who cares? They barely scored. It was
he just didn't like the guy. Didn't like the Bears, obviously, and like he was just chirping us. So whatever, it is what it is.
See, that's why I cannot be on like social media like that because I would DM him directly, like we need to fight, like we have to go fight.
But I learned my lesson from that. Like I learned that you do not engage with the social media behavior, and if you do, you just follow up and be like, "Why do you think that?" Or
you almost
like,
have to pretend like that person like does not exist on the same level as you. I know it's a bad way of saying it, but like you just gotta let them just say their stuff.
They
want you to engage.
In my eyes, like there's never been I've had ups and downs. I have absolutely, but never in my lowest points in life have I ever thought I'm going to go on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and leave hate comments to random people.
I mean, I can't say this, but I have a burner account.
Yeah,
so it's different.
Nobody will ever find this burner account.
But I'm different though. I just like rage baiting.
Yeah. See, that's I would
see. You can't. Those people just want to rage bait because it's like they probably are miserable people who like, oh, you know what? Let me make this guy. Misery loves company.
Misery does love company.
So he tried.
But back to what I was saying even before this. So we're moving in together. We have lived before together.
Yes.
We lived together freshman year of college, and we lived together sophomore year of college.
Yep.
And we haven't lived together since.
No.
How do you think it's going to go this time around? And how do you think it's going to be different? And how do you think it's going to be similar?
I mean, I think similar is like we pretty much talk and see each other like almost every day. So I don't think that's going to change in the sense of like we can get along pretty well. But I do think the difference will be adding in Patricia to the mix because I think I don't know. She might see the way I'm living, and she's gonna be like, "What on earth is?"
And she's and I just posted a TikTok about this today, but she's 100% Polish. If you didn't know this, Polish women are very strong-willed.
She's about to meet an American patriot just living there.
That is true. Gordy, the American patriot, living at the condo, and I personally think it's gonna go. I think it's gonna go very well because we already know we can get along well with each other. But yeah, I mean the dynamic's gonna be different because when we lived together, we were both single. Like we had
it's gonna be, but it'll be fun. Like we'll probably like fight sometimes, but not like anything crazy because we don't really like.
And I'm his landlord, so I can kick him out anytime I want.
We don't really like fight. It's more of like just the habits will be funny.
Yeah,
I think the only fighting will be like when you get on my PS5. That will be the only time.
Yeah, because I don't have a gaming console right now.
And he's gonna mooch off of me so hard with that. Yo, can I play tonight? When I get home, he's gonna be on it.
It's just because when I start, like, as an adult or a young adult, I feel like one of the only ways you really keep in touch with your friends on a repetitive basis, if you don't live very close to them, is like kind of playing video games.
Halftime, I'm not even playing the game. I'm literally just on doing work, and I'm just like
chatting with the boys.
Chatting. I'm chatting it up.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun. I think that's gonna be the biggest one where like. She's going to see what it's like when we, like, living together. Because we do, like, a lot, like, for example, like, meal prepping and stuff. Like
Sunday
meal preps are going to be funny.
Yeah,
and the working out. Yeah, that'll be fun.
and working. Like I think the biggest thing for us is going to be figuring out a way to like maybe we have like non-working hours where we're like
It's tough, man.
It is tough, but like maybe for like an hour, because the thing is Gordy and I work constantly. Anybody who knows us knows that. And like living together, our lives are going to be like, our relationship is going to be like strictly like talking about work all the time.
That we'll have to like separate that a little bit. I mean, I think it'll be good just to like.
We'll have to have movie nights.
I would be down for movie nights.
Yeah.
I also think like we'll find times where like, okay, we can't just be talking about work because inevitably we're gonna.
Yeah.
Because there's just too much that we're intertwined with each other on. But I think at the end of the day, like we used to when we did like the movies, or we got to find a show that we just need to watch. And then we'll just be like. Entourage.
Yeah, because Gordy's
I've never seen Entourage. So
Pat's smiling. So Pat, the man behind the camera.
Well,
I lived
Pat
with Pat
will be
for 2
over.
years. I know.
Pat's gonna be over a lot.
Pat and I live together. Depends on how he's feeling. But Pat and I live together, and that was the show we watched together as our
That's
group.
a good show.
Entourage, and that literally the season finale or the last episode of the show like made me cry.
Damn.
And I'm not a crier. But that brought a tear to my eye. It was that good.
Damn. All right, I gotta watch. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm excited to be in West Loop because, like, all my boys are down there.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun.
All your girls.
All my ladies, they're gonna be down there. No, there's no ladies. There's
just
zero.
work. There's just work.
The work.
Work's your
Listen,
girlfriend.
the money is the lady right now.
No, he's focused, disciplined.
Stay focused. I'm excited for it.
Yeah,
it's gonna be sick, and you're updating everybody about like what it's gonna look like, which will be cool.
Yeah,
because once like the condo is nice, like the location is awesome. Like if you live in West Loop, you already know the neighborhood. It's amazing. But if you don't, like this is one of my favorite neighborhoods right now for sure.
Yeah.
Like the restaurants are so nice, and I feel like it's like one of those neighborhoods where it's easy to like kind of walk anywhere and find somewhere to just like go hang out or like go do work somewhere.
There's always stuff to do. There's a lot of people to meet, which I think for us was a big thing.
And in that same like age frame as us too, which I really like. I noticed that like it's like Wrigleyville. I don't know if you notice it, but it's very much like. I don't want to say it's a college town, but it's a lot younger, like either right in college or like right out of college.
I do feel like a lot of times people come, like when you're moving from after college, like Wrigleyville is a lot of times that starting point.
Yeah, you notice that trend.
But then like it happens, you're there for like a couple years and then you kind of disperse and go to like a Lincoln Park or a West Loop or whatever. But like the reality is like, these areas are the A-class neighborhoods of Chicago. Like eventually college kids are not going to be able to afford to live there. Like I'm starting to see where I'm like, I don't understand how kids coming out of college, even with roommates, but like especially without roommates, how they're able to afford to live in these areas. But I think the reality is I think a lot of them aren't able to afford it. And a lot of these buildings now are changing their requirements. It used to be that you needed, 3 times the monthly rent, so a third of your income would be allocated to housing. Now, I think some of them are starting to change it to a half because people weren't able to qualify with the current, wages that they're making, and that's concerning.
That is. I mean, I also see the trend, especially with a lot of my clients, where instead of living in like a Lincoln Park Lakeview, they're moving now towards like. Sometimes maybe a Bucktown or like even in Westtown. Westtown is a big one I've noticed because I don't even know if it's like pricing. I honestly think it's just inventory at this point. I don't think it matters what price point you're at in a Lincoln Park, especially. There's just no inventory.
Right.
You could have the biggest budget, and guess what? There's just nothing on the market.
There's nothing to look at.
Like why? Because people move there. And then they're like, well, I love the neighborhood. Why would I ever leave? So they stay there for like 3 to 5 years.
Or longer.
And then they end up like potentially buying theirs, so it's just very tough in that sense. So I see like Westtown is starting to get alive.
I see that migration a lot too. Like I feel like people are more inclined to move from like a Lakeview and Lincoln Park. A lot of times they go west before they go north.
Yeah, which is interesting. I don't know why they don't go north.
I think it's just in proximity to downtown.
That's true.
Because I feel like a lot of them still, people are returning more and more to work in the office.
Yeah.
And if they work, a lot of times they're working in the Loop. So like, it's a little bit closer to get downtown. But yeah, I've seen a lot of our clients that like lived for the last few years in Lincoln Park and Lakeview that have gotten priced out that are now looking on the other side of the highway.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too is a lot of people get so shocked like when what their apartment was rented at 2024 to then 2025 to now 2026 and they're like, I don't know where I'm going to live. Like it's just so expensive. Like one bed's good luck. Like you're better off getting a roommate even if you're in your late 20s. You might be better off getting a roommate right now.
Trust me,
it's crazy.
I always use me as a barometer because I'm like, okay, I know how much I make. I know my expenses, my income, all those things. And I'm like, I could live alone at this point in my life for sure. But like, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
No.
Right? I feel like if you are looking to buy in your 20s, I think one of the best ways to do it is doing it the way I'm doing it because it's a win-win, right? So I go and buy a 2-bedroom, right, in a great location that I know I'd have a friend that would want to live with me there. Or, obviously if you're in a relationship, that's a different story, but like, and you're going to live with them. But, okay, buy a West Loop 2-bed, 2-bath. Gordy moves in with me, one of my best friends. We work together. He now gets to move in and pay less because I'm not going to charge him market rent. I'm going to charge him cheaper because he's my boy. Yeah. And I get to lower my living cost.
100%.
So it's a win-win. Like that to me is like one of the trends that I feel like we're going to continue to see where people are like, I may buy a place, but I'm not going to live there myself. I'm going to move in with I'm going to buy it and then I'm going to have somebody live with me. Or, like I said, obviously it gets a little different when you have a girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not married, because we have a lot of clients that like sometimes will, they want to buy, but they're like, I don't want to. It's kind of a tricky situation because, okay, you're dating somebody, you're financially ready to buy and move in together, but now who's going on title and who's going on the mortgage?
That's
and
the
like
only problem.
then they ask me my advice, and I'm like, I am not a relationship counselor.
No.
I am a real estate broker.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, I would not suggest going on title and mortgage with somebody who you are not at least engaged to.
Yeah.
But
or planning to get engaged to at this point,
Yeah, but that's not my business. Like, I'm not going to tell you that. Like, I'm going to say, talk to who you need to talk to, your parents, talk to relationship advisor. I don't know, talk to your priest. Like, that's not my business.
That's not our cup of tea. But it is true. Like, that's a good expectation to set for people of like, if you want to buy, that's a great avenue to get into it rather than being like, I should know whenever like, when am I going to buy? I don't know.
Because a lot of people are. The sticker shock freaks them out, and they're like, well, I'm going to be paying $500 more a month to own. What that doesn't take into account is any sort of tax incentives that you're getting. It doesn't take into account
the equity you're building.
And it doesn't take into the fact that, like, you can have a roommate and have somebody offsetting.
And you're owning the place. It's your place.
Right. So essentially, you're building equity. You're saving your friend or your roommate money because I would advise you charge them less.
Yeah, don't be like that person.
Yeah, don't be like pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. Don't be a greedy scumbag.
Yeah, and then don't be like you're gonna ruin your friendship with that person.
Exactly.
Then it's gonna be like an awkward conversation.
Make it a win-win and make it so everybody feels like they're coming on ahead.
But it's kind of a good like avenue to go down because you see like you're going into these rentals and it's like multiple applications, bidding war, highest and best, and you go, is this even worth it for me if I'm renting it? Like, wouldn't I be better off buying potentially?
What's the only way to avoid a bidding war if you're buying or if you're renting an apartment in Chicago right now?
Stop renting in Lincoln Park, Lakeview.
Yeah.
There you go. Like, I mean.
Or managed building.
Managed building.
That's really the only way.
But I do think, and I think managed building is good, actually is the only way to do it. And if you want to find a 1-bed for at least a fair price, in my opinion.
People listening might not know. So what's the difference between there's 2 different styles of apartments in Chicago. Like, what's the main differences between the two and what are they?
Well, it's the MLS deals and then a managed building. And MLS deals are like more of the ones that we show to our clients in our Compass platform. And if you've been on Zenlist on there, where it's like listed by real estate agents, other brokers like us, compared to like a managed building, which are those buildings that are those amenity style ones where you see where it's got the nice gym, pool, all that stuff. And they're like essentially condos, but they're all rent. Yeah. They're all rentals. And what's nice about them is that there's no highest and best multiple application. It's called first come, first serve. So when you go to those buildings, and let's say you want to apply to one, and you put in your application, they immediately pull that unit from the market. Nobody else can go for it while they're reviewing it. So it's a nice advantage for you. And I think the best thing about it is that like they're very flexible with like lease terms, move-in dates. Like if let's say it's April and you're like, oh, I want to find something for July. They might have stuff for July.
Right.
And you can always switch units within those buildings if you live there for a certain amount of time, and they do renew, like the renewal rates are very similar to MLS deals, but it's not an individual landlord that's running your unit. It's actually like the building, the company. It's a management company. So it's different if you need like a work order, anything like that. You're essentially putting in a request online for the maintenance people that are in the building every day, probably from whatever 9 to 5 or something like that.
To come take it.
So I think there's a lot of advantages to it, and there's a higher inventory rate there.
Yeah.
Compared to an MLS deal.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also, I mean, to be honest, like with rentals with the MLS, we can only show you so much.
Right.
So it's kind of like tough for us, and like something I tell my clients, like, sometimes it's better off to just look on your own.
Right.
I can't help you.
I would say it's always case by case, but there are a lot of times where you are better off looking for an apartment without an agent.
Yeah.
If your budget's, and this is where it kind of gets a little dicey because people are like, oh, you just don't want to work with low budgets. No. If I work with you as a low budget, you are not going to see nearly as much inventory.
We're holding you back,
Yeah, we're holding you back from seeing as much inventory because there's only so many. Like, this is the way I explain it to people. On a $1,500 apartment, okay, there's only so much juice for the squeeze. Oh, yeah. There's not enough commission involved in that deal a lot of times to make it for a landlord to be incentivized to give that to 2 different brokers. Like, it's a cheap place. Like, there's not a lot there. Whereas, like, you know, you start getting into the big managed apartment complexes, they have hundreds of units. Their whole process is built out, and they already have built into the, you know, that a certain percent of the units are going to be rented by an agent, and they're going to pay a broker. So they work with all of us. So, you know, that's where I tell people, I'm like, okay, ultimately, if you want a seamless process and you want no bidding wars, and you want to work with an agent who's going to do all the work for you, you have to be looking at a managed building, a managed apartment, 100%. A professionally managed apartment complex. You can't be looking at a walk-up in Lincoln Park. You can't be looking at, you know, an 8-unit building in what, I mean, an agent can help you a little bit, like here or there, but it's very case-by-case specific. But, you know, it's just the nature of the market that we're in.
That's where we're in. And, like, the managed buildings, what I find that I think is nice for a lot of my clients who tour them is sometimes they have multiple varieties of units.
Right.
So it's like you're not just like going to this one specific unit and you go, well, I don't like the unit anymore. Mm-hmm. Great, now we got to, you know, start from scratch. No, they have different types of units in there, and they also offer sometimes these concessions that you can get with these units. You know, if it's like a 15-month lease, maybe they offer 2 weeks or a month free, and then it's like, oh, now it's within my budget. Perfect, you know? Right. And a rental, it's a short-term deal for you. So it's like, is it better off to go to these? Maybe it's going to be a little bit higher price, but you eliminate the competition. That's where you have to like decide if that's worth it for you.
I know for me, like it's so like at least this is how I understand the value of time, because time, you can't get more time, right?
Yes.
And so for me, spending that extra time running around looking at places, submitting offers, paying application fees, getting outbid, like to do that for an apartment, to me, is not something I have any interest in. I would much rather pay a little bit more on a sticker price and live in a building that does no bidding wars. Yeah, sure. It's going to be more expensive, but it's probably going to be nicer.
Yeah.
And there's a professional management company. I know my maintenance is going to be done. Like, to check that off the box and not have to worry about it, there's a value in that can't be quantified in a spreadsheet and can't be quantified in a dollar amount.
100%. I think we're starting to see that for a lot of our renters, especially ones who have rented for a few years now, are starting to switch it up and be like, I don't want to do what we had to do last year.
Yeah.
Where we're like essentially going in backwards and we're fighting. We're like trying to fight to get this deal done, and we're going way over asking price. Because for a lot of my clients, I tell them, I don't want you to go to a range where you're uncomfortable putting that offer in.
Right.
You know, but I also want you to be realistic and understand that, like, hey, like this past weekend, there was one, had 50 applications on it.
Yeah.
And I told my clients, I'm like, I want to let you guys know, like, we have a chance.
But it's not like, a good one.
No, it's like the Dumb and Dumber. So you're saying there's a chance. Like, you know, like it's insane. 50 applications. Like, I wonder where it's going to land. Like, how do you compete in that?
Right.
You know, like I've had... And it's stressful for my clients and for your clients as well, because you know, you feel bad in the sense of like, we've lost so many times. And, you know, I had one client who just, you know, called me and was like, hey, where can we find something that's just like no multiple applications? And I told him, managed building. Yeah. That's the only one. I said, there's a rare case of an MLS deal that does a first come first serve.
Yeah, but unlikely.
I mean, in this type of a market, I've never seen it. And most list agents, which I would do the same, are going to be like, why would I ever do first come first serve?
Yeah.
I'm better serving my, you know, the landlord by saying, hey, we'll do a multiple application. it's going to drive up the price every single time.
Yeah.
You know?
And they come out like a rock star.
It's crazy.
And yeah, so that's kind of the thing we've been telling a lot of our renter clients. And the second thing we've been telling them is like, once you get to a threshold where like you're paying over a certain amount in rent, which I feel like this year in particular is the first time where people's minds are starting to switch a little because rent has gotten so expensive in Chicago, where they're like, what are my options to buy? I'm paying $3,000 for a 1-bed or $5,000 for a 2-bed or whatever. And it's like, okay, the rent amount getting so high is only pushing more and more people into the buyers into the market of potentially purchasing, because it's like you can. I mean, for me, this is the best example because it's a firsthand experience. I am buying my West Loop 2-bed 2-bath when I just got the disclosure right before we got on the podcast. 5% down. So my cash to close, all in with closing costs, is $20,000.
Okay.
Down payment, closing costs, everything. $20,000 plus an additional $15,000 in earnest money. So that's $35,000 out of pocket, okay? My monthly payment on it is, with HOA, taxes, insurance, everything, is like $3,800. And that's not including your rent portion, which is going to knock down that amount. I could not rent a 2-bed 2-bath
for under $4K like that.
For under $4K in the West Loop with in-unit laundry and garage parking like that. Plus, I'm building equity, I'm getting the tax write-offs, and I'm able to make the place my own, right? Like that, like this now becomes mine.
Yeah.
I don't have to adhere to what the property manager, the landlord says. If the landlord decides to sell, I don't have to move out. Like, this is my place.
Or raise the rent.
Right. Like, so long as I keep paying my mortgage, I can stay there however long I want. So when I look at that, I'm like, okay, it's costing me just about the same to own it versus renting. Obviously, there's the down payment, but 5% down, you could put 5% down as a first-time buyer. You could even do as low as 3.5%, but let's just say 5% down. I mean, it made no sense from both a lifestyle perspective, financial perspective, and like it was too obvious of a choice to buy this time around versus rent, because I just looked at it side by side.
I mean, and if you're like someone you plan to be here a long time,
even if you plan to be here, I would say like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, 2 to 3 years, but also just like you're making good money at your job, you have, let's say, good savings. Why wouldn't you even consider buying? Why wouldn't you just like consider that an option? Because at the end of the day, like, wouldn't you rather build equity instead of just throwing that money away every year? You know,
I think what's an interesting calculation that people don't do is when they look at, like, they may hear like, oh, you put $35,000 in a down payment or $35,000 cash to close, 5% down, and be like, well, it's still a lot of money. Well, yes, but take your rent and multiply it by 12 over the course of a year and tell me how much that is, right? I mean, it's probably
more, actually.
It could be a lot. It could be more.
I mean, I've seen like over 50,000. I'm like, whoa.
And people could say, well, how am I going to save that money if I have to live in an apartment? Well, here's the reality, okay? And this is where old school Michael comes out a little bit. But there are a lot of clients that we have that live in the Chicagoland area or that are from the Chicagoland area. Yeah. They're like, you can move home for 6 to 12 months, save up your down payment, and be ready to go buy something. I'm like, yeah. Is that fun to do? No. You and I both know it's not fun to wake up at 6 a.m. and have to haul to the city and then not get home until 10 o'clock at night. Yeah. But ultimately, like, it's put us in financial positions that are so much. It's the only reason I've been able to buy a property in 2024, property in 2025, and now buying my condo in 2026. The only reason I was able to do that 100%. Was because I was sacrificing on other things, such as living, in an apartment, whatever, and saving money by living at home. Now, I'm not saying that's even feasible for you or that you need to do that, but I think my general point is that, like, you've got to sacrifice a little bit in the short term to gain in the long term.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, you just have to have your priorities, like, straight. Like, if that's something you want to do, you're like, if you even bring up buying, the first thing I would say is just start saving. Like, right away. Like, just start saving. Like, it's not hard. Even opening a savings account and putting, let's just say 20% of your check into it. You're building a balance. Like, it's just, that's all you got to do. But for a lot of people, it's hard because, they like the lifestyle of living in the city. All their friends are down here. They've been doing it. It's a big change to be, like, back in the suburbs.
Yeah.
You have to. But it's so worth it in the end if you do it for like a year. Just suck it up and just
or
be
like live with roommates or do something like
Yeah.
in your 20s. It's not weird to be living in a crappy apartment or live with roommates or both.
I literally said, like, a lot of people who are like turning 25, 26, 27, they're like, oh, I got to live on my own now.
Yeah.
I'm like, you might be better off just moving in with a roommate.
And the thing is, too, like, people are like, well, there's no inventory. And that's true. There is not a lot of inventory, but there is some inventory. It's just not inventory you like.
No.
It's just not something you're willing.
But-
Like, oh, well, I would never live in that. It's not new and it doesn't have in-unit laundry.
No, but I always...
Okay,
but-
well, there is stuff for you in your budget. It just doesn't align with what you're expecting.
And you got to think, I've always told all my renters, it's like, okay, you're not buying a place, so it's not going to be perfect. You have to be willing. There's trade-offs in renting. Like, what can you live with and what can you live without? Once you do that, it makes it so much easier for yourself to be like, all right, you know what? I probably don't really need the in-unit laundry. Like, if it's in the building, fine.
And
whatever.
it's not your dream place. Like, you have the
No.
rest of your life to move into your dream house or build your dream house. Or, like, for me, I mean, yeah, in Wrigley, when I lived there, I lived in a pretty nice place, but it was also a 4-bedroom with 3 other guys, and it was during COVID. So it was a 4-bed, 4-bath, like, very renovated, and it was $4,000 a month for the whole place.
Which
So
is
it was not
crazy.
very expensive.
Yeah.
At all. It's probably renting for like $6,000 plus.
Of course, no.
And you know, but the apartment we lived in before that was not nice.
Not like that. But I didn't mind.
And we lived in
because-
a dorm before that.
Yeah, and like even my studio, there was a 350 square foot studio. I'm paying less than $1,000. I'm like, cool, great.
Right.
But if you want the in-unit laundry, you want the parking. Well, I know your best avenue. It's a managed building.
Right.
You're not going to find that as much in an MLS deal. When you do,
It's going to be
guess
bidding
what?
war central.
Bidding war. Like I always tell everybody, okay, I want to find a 2-bed, 2-bath in Lincoln Park for whatever price. Guess what? 30 to 50 other people want the exact same thing as you.
Yeah.
Welcome. You know, that's why you should go to that managed building, because you're going to be able to find what you're looking for, and they can actually adjust the pricing based off of the amount of time that you live there. So if it's a shorter lease or a longer lease, you know, and that helps a ton. Or if you want to look farther out or, you know, closer, like they're offering incentives. So you have more options. And like, I think that's, especially in renting, wouldn't you rather have that flexibility? Because in an MLS, there's just no flexibility.
No.
You have to essentially just deal with what the owner wants and what the list agent is telling
And you're
them.
playing landlord roulette because, like,
Yeah,
at least with
you are.
a professionally managed building, like you could look up reviews about the building, the property management company.
Yeah.
We've worked with a lot of them, so we know what the experience of our clients living there is. If you do a deal that's just like a privately owned building, I mean,
You have no idea.
I have no clue if John Smith is a good landlord.
No.
Or not. I have no clue.
and he's-
How would I know? This may be his only property. He may have lived there for 3 years, moved to Florida, and is keeping it as an investment. Like, I have no clue if he's a good landlord or not. And then it's like, don't get mad at me when they're not, because it's like I would have no way of knowing that.
No, and like for these managed buildings, like they're very keen on making sure they have quality property management, because if they don't, why would anybody live there?
Right? People will just move to the
You know, and their
neighboring
incentive
building.
is like, we just want to fill the buildings up. So it's like they know that a good property management attracts people at the end of the day. Like that's something that I've had clients like, I just want to make sure I live with like a great property manager. And I'm like, well, you're better off looking at managed buildings where you can see reviews online and just see like how good they are. Because I could not tell you if an individual landlord, if I haven't worked with them before,
Yeah, and a lot
is good or not.
most of the times we haven't worked with them, and like
No.
how there's no way to know. So that's kind of the way I've been framing it to our clients as we've gotten in this market where rents have gone bonkers in Chicago. I mean, they're gonna and the thing that people don't understand is that like it's not going to get better.
No.
Because it's not that I have a crystal ball, but ultimately, until there's cranes in the
Yeah.
sky, the rents will continue to go up.
Yeah, I mean, if
because
it's low
there's
inventory,
there's
for
no inventory,
No.
and the problem like there's no inventory, and there's no sign of new buildings coming on the market. I mean, I just made a TikTok or Instagram about this the other day, but Chicago's not even the top 30 cities, not even big top 30 cities with new buildings coming to market in the next
Isn't that
5 years.
crazy?
Below Columbus, below Austin, below Phoenix, below all these other cities that are a lot of them not nearly as big as Chicago, and we're just nowhere near there. So it's like I look at that and I'm like, okay, the only way if I want to continue living in Chicago to properly insulate myself is I need to either move somewhere where I can afford better or buy something. Because if I buy something, at least I'm locking in my biggest monthly expense, which is housing, right? Sure, your taxes, your insurance, whatever, that can go up. I understand that. But when a landlord's taxes and insurance goes up,
Your rent goes up. Yeah.
So you're paying for it one way or the other. I'd rather be on the end of getting the advantage of rising housing costs
100%.
than be on the receiving end of, being the renter and dealing with all the.
I mean,
pretty much you deal with only the negative consequences and you don't get any of the upside.
no, which is huge. And listen, I learned one thing from school. Supply and demand.
Yeah.
When the supply is low and the demand's high, what does that do?
Right.
Drives up a price like crazy, and that's what we're seeing. So for a lot of people, they're just they're now starting to understand that. I mean, last year it was pretty bad as well, but this year I've noticed the biggest difference of just everywhere. It's everywhere now. Good luck finding any place right now without, at least 5 other groups who want the same thing as you.
Yeah, yeah. So and a lot of the things too that we tell people as well, if they're even considering, okay, I don't know if I'm ready to buy.
Yeah.
But I want to explore my options. Sit down with a lender. We can connect you with our preferred lender. Sit down with them, or when I say sit down, it could be a Zoom call. It's 2025 or 2026 now. It could be Zoom call, Google, and it's a 15-minute call.
It's nothing crazy.
And it's it's literally like having a conversation with one. It's but we can't help. You have no clue what you can afford until you talk to a lender.
No.
You may think you do, but you have no clue.
You got to find out
and
your buying power.
And you don't know what a place is actually going to cost you on a monthly basis until you talk to them.
Exactly.
Because what they're going to do, the lender, is they're going to take your income, take your credit, get all that basic info, and then you could tell them, be like, yeah, I online, I was looking, and I like this place. Within a minute, he can say, this is how much it's going to cost you a month to own this place.
Yeah.
And without failure, every single time, they come back and they're like, wow, that's not too much different than what I pay in rent.
No.
And then they start looking at places and they're like, wow, this is actually nicer than what I would pay if I rented this same place, and I get to build equity, and I get the tax, I get all these benefits.
Yeah.
And then they are so eager to buy, and it's like a switch goes off because they're like, why didn't I do this earlier? Or why? Well, no, because you just don't know. You just don't know
you're
until
not.
you know.
You don't learn it in school. No one's showing you how to buy. You just have to find. That's why we're here, where we can literally direct you, and we're not being you have to buy. It's more of, we're gonna guide you along and let you know if we think you're ready, and you just ask us any questions you want, because at the end of the day we will be able to answer them.
Yeah.
And we can connect you with the people if we don't be able to answer them.
And people a lot of times think when they buy something, they're like, oh, it's so permanent.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's so permanent.
Well, it can be scary for sure, because it's buying.
But the thing is it's okay if you sign a 2-year lease and you live in a condo for 2 years. I mean, most people in the city, they live in their first place for 3-4 years and then they're out.
Yeah.
And then they either sell it or rent it out. That's not permanent. Now I wouldn't recommend buying it and selling it within 2 years because you're going to end up losing money most likely. But there's the idea of permanence with a condo. I just don't see it as that. I know for me, the condo I'm buying, I'm going to live in it for 2 years max, and then either you're going to stay there and be a squatter, or I'm going to rent it out and keep it. And then by the time I have a 30-year mortgage on it. By the time I'm in my 50s, it's going to be paid off, and it's going to pay for my kids' college. Okay. Perfect. That's the way to look at these things versus, if I would have stayed renting in the city from when I graduated college, or when I was in college really, to now, I would have spent probably it would have been in the hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent.
Imagine that you're spending $100,000 in
Not
rent.
even 100, hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent.
If you went to college, you probably have loans as well.
Right.
So it's a lot of expenses. So you have to almost switch your mindset from thinking about the now to whatever now to 1 year or 2 years to thinking about the long term aspect of it. Because when you buy, that's what you have to think about. And when you do that, you're gonna realize this is so worth it for myself.
And it's not that complicated.
No.
People I personally would get way more stressed out bidding up a price for an apartment that I don't own than bidding up a price of a condo or a house that I will own, because at least I get some benefit on the back end of that with appreciation, tax benefits, all those different things. If you rent and you overpay for that rental, I mean, you're stuck with the rental rate that you're paying, and you don't get any of the upside.
No.
I mean, the money's gone.
And if you don't like the place, you're like, dang, I just bid up so much.
And you can't change anything.
There's nothing you
because
can do. Yeah,
because you don't own it. Like, your landlord's not just gonna.
And also for the people that get stuck in the lease cycles, it's like, how do you break out of it? Well, one of them is to buy it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, one of the biggest pieces of advice we've been giving our client, and we just had this happen last week. Like, our client was getting outbid. She's renting right now. And this is kind of parlays another reason with why I love managed buildings and why I think they're such a good option for people who want to buy in the future. She rents in a managed building, and right now is like uber competitive for both rentals and buying
100%.
because of everybody's leases expires in the summer, so they're looking to buy right now. She got outbid a few times, and we're like, okay, ask your building if you can extend your lease like 3 to 4 months. Get you out of into the summer. Market for buy sell will slow down a little bit because all those people looking right now will either have re-signed their lease or bought a place.
Yeah.
Most managed buildings will offer you a short-term, little bump. Obviously, it might be a little more expensive, but offer you a short-term renewal to get you into that time frame. And then you go and buy in the second half of the year when the market's a little bit cooler and not as nuts. And now you've got the best of both worlds. Yeah. You've not sacrificed a whole nother year of renting. You've not put yourself back into the same situation the following year where you're looking to buy in February and March and having to bid over, asking on every single place. And you're going to be buying in the time of the year where it's probably most advantageous for you as a buyer, which is the second half of the year.
To manage buildings, they offer flexibility. The other one nice thing that I love about, I don't love it on my side when I'm showing the units, but if you are living in a managed building, they don't show occupied units. You don't have people coming into your unit for example, you live on on MLSCL, they might do, hey, we're going to do an open house this Saturday from 12 to 3.
All these
hundreds of people just walking through your unit, whatnot. I personally don't like that because then it's like, oh, you're touching my stuff, you're sitting down or whatnot, and if you're sick, then I'm like, great, no, I'm going to be sick, And
it's just annoying to rearrange your schedule.
Yeah, and you have to be like, oh, hey, do you want to show the unit tonight at 7 o'clock? It's like, dude, I just got home. In a managed building, they'll have model units or they could show videos of it. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of advantages to it. I think for a lot of people, they're just like, well, where do I start? It's like, well, sit down with us, talk with us.
Yeah.
We have a great platform for it.
Yeah.
We literally can set you up easy. And it's easy to set up
5
tours.
minutes, we can get you any listings that are within your criteria. Specifically, we can curate listings that we think would work best for you based on our experience.
And touring is so easy because there's no list agent telling you, by the way, it's only, next week from this time to this time. So like a showing block. No, you could do them any day of the week.
Yeah.
It's usually between 10 o'clock and probably 4 is usually what they do.
Yeah.
So easy.
When have you found, because you work with so many renters and a lot of them have started to buy now, what's the time where you see people's, the switch go off where they're like, okay, ready to buy. Let's sit down with a lender or let's talk to, Gordy and talk about buying. When do you see that happening most?
Honestly, I'm starting to see it right now. Last year.
Where in people's lives do you usually see it?
Usually around age 25 and above, I see it. If you've rented for 2+ years, then you go, I'm sick of renting. I'm sick of moving. I don't want to deal with this anymore. I hate this multiple application. It's, giving me PTSD. And then they go, okay, what do you think about buying? And honestly, something I do is I used to be kind of scared to approach people about buying because I'm I don't want to be oh, you should buy, pushing. But I'm just looking at what they're renting and I'm, texting them and dealing with their emotions of dealing with this. I'm like, why don't we just discuss buying for just let's just get on a call. Let's just go over a few things. And I've just noticed that now because a lot of the people that when I first started, I was right out of school. So all my renters were right out of school. So I've just grown with my clients like you have. And I've seen that after those 2 to 3 years, they're like, oh, you know what? I'm starting to make some money. I got my big boy or big girl job. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
What is there an option for me to buy? And sometimes we all have renters who are afraid to ask because they're just I don't know if I should. Do I even have enough money? So it's good. It's good for us to just tell them hey, maybe it's a good idea to talk about it.
And the last thing I'll say on this too, a lot of our clients, and this is obviously not for everybody.
Yeah.
This doesn't. So I know there's going to be somebody in the comments or somebody's going to get all bent out of shape about what I'm about to say. But there are a lot of people who have rich parents. Okay.
Yeah.
And even if they're not rich, you have parents that have some money that are willing to help out because they're getting older and what's the money just sitting there? talk to your parents about potentially helping you buy your first place. And I know there's going to, again, some people are going to be like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do it all on my own. Or some parents are going to be like,
if your parent was helping you like co-sign on a place, why wouldn't they want to
ultimately
buy?
The reality is, in today's market, in the markets that we work, our clients under the age of 30, an overwhelming majority of them are having parents give them money to help them buy the place.
100%.
And if you have the money and you're not doing that for your kid, I'm not saying you have to. I'm not saying it's morally just. I'm not here to opine on that. But I am saying you are putting them at a disadvantage compared to other buyers in the market, because other buyers in the market don't care about that. They say, you can use my bank as proof of funds. We could submit a cash offer. They still get a mortgage, but they'll submit a cash offer using the proof of funds from the parent's bank account. And they beat out your kid every single time. And you may be fine with that. That's totally cool. If you want your kid to do it all on their own, or you're the person who wants to do it all on your own, that's totally fine. But if you are not, and you want to help your child get their first place and get into the home buying, process and get their starter condo or home, and you have the financial means to do it, I would say explore that option.
100%. And also, like, if you're a parent, you want your kids to be set up for a good future.
Right.
The door is right there.
Right.
For it,
And a lot of these parents are older, and they the older you get, the wiser you become because you have that experience. Ask your kid what they're paying in rent in Chicago.
Oh my God.
And do the numbers on it.
Yeah.
And then you tell me that you don't want to give them, and how you arrange it. I mean, we've seen it done so many different ways. We've had some where the parents will be essentially act as the bank. So the kid will buy the place, the parents will give the money, but they will now be paying their parents back on essentially as if the parents loan them the money as a mortgage. We've seen some where the parents just gift the down payment. We've seen some where the parents will, go in on it with the kid and do a 50-50 equity
be on title
share.
with them,
be on title with them and do a 50-50 equity share. Like, we've seen it done so many different ways that there's no right or wrong way to do it, but at least explore the option.
I mean, it's a good
if you have
advantage for you. If you have it. If you have that option, it definitely helps. I mean, like, if your parents, when you're renting in Chicago, when you go right out of school, you're not going to have the income to be like, oh, I can show 3 times the rent.
Right.
If you do, great. But most people don't. So your parents, what do? They probably co-sign on the place with you. It's kind of a similar thing, obviously, just buying, which is different, but it's a competitive advantage. Why wouldn't you even explore? Because you're going to be going in with people who are going to be having way more money, more buying power, and they could put down more deposits.
And also, I feel like when your parents involved in the process the first time buying, you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, that was the other thing I was thinking. Yep.
I'm not. Obviously, I hope you feel completely comfortable working with us, but it's still, we're real estate agents.
We're not your parents.
We're not your parents. Like, I hope you have a better relationship with your parents than you do with your real estate agent. If not, you should probably go to therapy for that. But if your parents are involved in the process and giving you some money and helping you buy your first place, and they're, working alongside you, and we're in communication, we're doing group meetings, group calls, it makes you feel so much more confident that you're like, oh, I know I'm making a good decision because I know my dad would never lead me astray. I know my mom would never lead me astray. Whereas, you may not trust us, and that's fine. Like, I understand it. I hope eventually you get to the point where you do, but it's just natural. We're in a sales role. There's always going to be some kind of hesitation there.
Yep.
But if you get your parent involved in the process and they're going to help you out in terms, whether it's financially or whatever, we're happy to do it. The only thing I will say is just on the flip side of that, don't let the parent that you're having involved in the process become a hindrance on the process because they think they know more. They should be, ultimately, we are the ones in the field every single day. We sell know. We are in the trenches, so we know what the market conditions are. We know what levers we need to pull in the offer. And so sometimes it's like you want your parent to be involved so they at least understand it and involved in the conversation and will answer any questions. But you also don't want them to be overbearing to the point where they think they're running the show, because that's not a good, conducive working relationship either.
Yeah, because you got to realize we're in the trenches. We have a lender who's also doing that, who has tons of experience.
Attorney who's also doing inspector,
also
everybody.
You just have to more so trust that and communicate with them and with us. And that's the other nice thing about buying. You have a great team behind you.
Right.
It's not like you're going in and being like, oh my God, what if I get screwed on this deal?
Right.
You have a lot of
Backstops,
backstops, like that are going to make sure that you get a great deal. And in the end, you're probably going to come back and say, I really, really was happy that I bought.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I don't think
mean,
we've had a single client that's bought a place and is like, I'm not happy that I did this.
And like, do you want to keep moving every single year trying to find, you know, scratching and clawing for the next place, or just find your place? It doesn't have to be your forever home. We talked about it. It doesn't have to be permanent.
And it's probably not going to be your forever home.
No, but it could be your home for the next few years, or who knows? Like, you know, maybe you meet someone and they can move in with you. Boom.
Yeah.
Done. Like,
maybe you
easy.
Maybe you find Gordy out.
Listen,
in
you might find your love. I might move in with you.
No, or
you know,
you move in with Gordy. Then it'll be me, Patricia, Gordy, and his future.
That would be sick if we bought like a 4-bed together, like you and Patricia, me and either if it's my girlfriend.
It'd be like the hype house. It'd be like
Dude,
social media.
The REKAP hype house. That'd be crazy. I mean, Patricia would love it. Like I know she would. Like she's so excited. She told me she couldn't wait for me to move in. Like
she literally never said anything.
She's like, I'm so excited to be like your roommate, and I'm like, we're gonna be bros, dude. Bros for life.
Yeah, he must have been dreaming this because I don't remember this conversation at all.
We're gonna have like fun. I guarantee you, there's gonna be a lot of content at the place.
Oh, that's true. We might shoot the podcast there.
Yeah, we could. I mean, like Mike P will be staying with us as well. Julie, if you want to stay with us, like you could stay with us. You know,
dude, could you
Mike
imagine?
Will could stay with us. His girlfriend could also stay with us.
Oh my gosh,
like,
yeah, that's exactly what we need.
Pat, you're staying in my bed. Like that's the difference. Like you're with me, cuddle buddies.
Cuddle buddies. Yep. So. Well, this was good. Thanks for coming on. I enjoy having you on. Like sometimes I feel like with normal guests, it's a little difficult for me because I feel
it's more like an interview process.
You gotta pull. Yep. Where it's like you know.
Well,
I just wind you up. You're like the little. You're like the little at the dentist office. No, not that. You are that in your head. But at the dentist office, the little chat.
The chat bot.
I just wind you up
and he walks and talks and
motor mouth.
It's I'm like Elmo, you know, the tickle me Elmo.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I like being on the pod. I mean, you know, but sometimes you got to go into retirement for a little bit. You know, you get a little.
We'll see when you have. I'll think about when I'll have you on next. But I think this was helpful.
Episode 42.
Episode 42 in the books. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.